problem you're solving for people is also being solved by other people, and it's your job to find those other people that are solving the problem so that you can essentially partner together, or at least they can know you and you can refer people to them, they can refer people to you, and it's how you get found. What do you know about ecosystem marketing? I read this book this weekend that just blew my mind in a good way, and like the sharer that I am, I wanted to bring this to other people. I've spoken to 20 plus businesses in the last few months, and every single one of them wants to reach more customers, wants to grow their business. But more than half of them, the only thing they're talking about is social media. Even me, someone who talks about online marketing and how to reach your customers online, I fell into that pit of feeling like the only way to reach people, was through building your brand and letting people come to you. But there's another kind of marketing that essentially has you going out to people, which is like outbound, to find people to work with you. This book was really interesting in that it it's sometimes the methods I've heard are like very aggressive, and I want to say bro, but this one is about building relationships with people that all serve the same customer you're trying to reach, and you're not building the relationships just for the sake of what you're gaining. You're actually interested in them like a real human being, and essentially you're planting seeds, and eventually the way seeds work, when you water them, you nurture them, it will grow. So I want to share 7 lessons I've learned from the Widest net. It's a book by Pamela Slim, and it's about how to unlock untapped markets and reach customers, discover customers right in front of you. So it's going to be a build up. You might find that the first 3 points are like, okay, what does this have to do with reaching new customers? But you have to stay with me because it all builds up on each other on the next ones. So let's get into it. This is the first point. It's the body of work you're building. I'm going to read her words so you can listen to them and hear it exactly how she said it. At the end of your life, when you look back at what you spent your life creating, will you be filled with gratitude or will you be filled with regret? I know, profound statement. And it makes you think about, you're trading your time for money, yes, but you're also trading your life because your time is your life. And whatever you're building, let it be worth something that you really want to be, that you really will be proud of, that you really can look back on and be like, you know what, this was worth my life. And she goes on in a different part to say, if you're going to walk on the rest of your life talking about this core problem that you solve, let it be something that is worth your time and energy, essentially. So that's the first point I wanted to just start with. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you actually really enjoy it. Yes, money is important, and I'm one of those people that I really think that we should make more money, yes, but just make sure that this is something you actually want to do. And for me, I'm very excited that like I'm finally coming back to the place where counseling and coaching is part of what I'm doing, because I've always felt called to that, but I was avoiding it for a long time. Anyways, this is about you, not about me, so let's keep going. The second point is to define your ideal customer. Everybody tells you this, and I've even had earlier episodes on this. I think this is going to be a recurring theme on it. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a podcast that accompanies this on Spotify. It's called Small and Thriving. If you're listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, there is a YouTube version of this that you can find on my channel. When she says define your customers, she says define your customers in terms of their problems, their challenges, and aspirations. This is different because sometimes you hear build a persona, what kind of person are they, and what do they eat, where do they hang out. All of those are important, and demographic details that you might want to add later on. But if you start with the problem that you're solving, it helps you to think of the core of the thing you're doing first of all, before the extra details. And I just really like it that it emphasizes who they are in terms of the problem you're solving for them, the challenges they're encountering, and who they want to be, the aspirations they have, which means the transformation you're going to get them to, essentially through them working with you. And I narrowed mine to say I help small businesses go from not having the skills to attract customers online to having an overflowing customer roster and plenty of money in the bank. I assume that as the years go by, I'm going to refine that some more, but I know I want to work with small businesses. I know that it has to do with gaining skills to show up online, to reach more people in your business, grow your business. And I know that the byproduct of that is you being richer, because we should get paid for the work that we put in into things. I also really like the bit about defining the characteristics of who you want to work with. One of the perks of working for yourself is that you shouldn't have to work with terrible people, or if you have to, then they should pay you some serious money for it, as in there is terrible person premium on your products and services. So like, anyways, I won't get into it. The third thing is very important. Different people might need to accomplish the same thing, but they could have different reasons why they haven't accomplished it yet. This is important to note because when you sell something to a customer, yes, you're selling what you're offering, but you're also selling the transformation. And the transformation that you're selling has to match the aspiration that they have. So understanding the different reasons why people come to you helps you to know what transformational journey you're going to take them on. Something, a sub point under this number 3 point is essentially that you want to design an offering that's a fit for you and your business and the rest of your life. Meaning that the best way I can explain this is an example. Just a couple months ago, I was finding that even though I did not want to really do the service for my customers, say like, I don't want to run your social media, I don't want to send emails for you. I primarily want to help you understand where you're at, help you develop a plan that you can follow, help you identify potential resources to hire to work with you, or potential software to make your life easier. I don't want to do the work for you, but I was finding that most people wanted the work done for them. And I was like, that means I have to adjust and become a service provider. But this kind of gave me the freedom to say, hey, you don't have to change what the core of your offer is. There are people who need guidance, people to just walk beside them and say, hey, this is what to do next. You've done a great job here. Here's how to replicate it. That's what coaching is. And I am excited to finally have the freedom to build something in line with what my skills are, with the future I want to build for myself. And I think you should think of that yourself. How can you build a business that's a fit for who you are, the skills you have? And on a separate note, I read something else from a different person this weekend. I read a lot this weekend, and my husband was like, I think you need to stop reading. You know enough. Go do the things you're reading. And he has a point. I need to do more, which is what I'm also sharing as a way to do. And I've actually started putting her tips into practice of reaching out to people in my ecosystem, which we're going to get to in a minute. But the other thing I read was that a lot of us spend a lot of time trying to build our weaknesses. Oh, get better at your weakness. But how about we spend some time amplifying our strengths and sticking with the things that we're really good at? Because it you will only be like probably average at your weaknesses if you improve your skills there. But like your strengths, the things that you're naturally called to do, if you spend more time developing that, you could become like a proper pro at it, right? Like there's no point of a fish trying to learn how to run or something like that. So it sounds so common sense, but I think there's something about having grown up in the school system, in the corporate work system, where you have to be good at a bunch of different things, where you're supposed to exceed expectations in multiple areas, that just kind of dulls your natural instincts to prefer certain aspects of work, right? Like makes you feel like you have to be good at different aspects of things. And maybe you're a super person and you're good at different things, but if you already know your core strengths, it's good to just focus on those and get better. Yes, you might want to spend a little time making sure that you don't absolutely suck at your weakness, or at least outsourcing them, recognizing the weaknesses and finding people that are good at them. Yes, but I just really found freedom in that. Okay, now let's talk about the widest ecosystem, the widest net, and ecosystem marketing. This concept is essentially saying the people that you're targeting are also being targeted by other people. Oh, that sounds like you're trying to kill people. Let's not call it targets. It's essentially saying the problem you're solving for people is also being solved by other people, and it's your job to find those other people that are solving the problem so that you can essentially partner together, or at least they can know you and you can refer people to them, they can refer people to you, and it's how you get found. Let me read my own notes so that I don't bungle it up together. This concept of the widest net ecosystem is essentially saying that the people that you solve a problem for, you can't solve all their problems. And it is helpful for you to find other people who are solving related problems for them and partner with those people instead. And here are 10 different aspects that she highlights in the widest net ecosystem: service providers, thought leaders, government institutions, maybe that's one I was missing, media hubs, for profit organizations, events, faith communities, non profit companies, academic institutions, and association and clubs. So Let me give you an example of how this could work in, a real example. So let's say you're a makeup artist, right? And you work with brides, you work with students for like proms and fancy events. While you might be saying, okay, let me just do my work and post it out there. And it's good because the best kind is when you just stay and people know you for what you do and they can find you. You could also make a list of think of the person you're serving. The problem you solve for them is that they have a fancy event and they need to look their best and they want to hire a professional to work with them. Let's now focus on proms and weddings, right? For a wedding, you're not the only vendor. There are so many other vendors. Because it's a special day, they have a hair person as well. They have photographers, videographers, event venues, event planners, a church you're going to get married in. All of those are places in your ecosystem that you need to care about. The first one for service providers is like people that are also working with you to serve the bride on that day are good people to connect with. And you kind of see this happening, with the event industry of people knowing each other. That's why it's important because maybe they don't have a preference for a makeup artist yet, but they're talking with their photographer and they go, oh, I have some vendors I work with. If you're interested in them, I can pass a list on to you and you can research it. Or they can have a more aggressive referral than that. Maybe not aggressive, but a more persuasive referral than that they can pass across for you. The second is thought leaders and influencers. Well, this is the day and age of social media where everybody has pages they follow that they love, whether that's brides, whether that is dark skin makeup for people that are dark skin, people that are influential, bridal blogs like Bella Naija or Perfect. And these are good places to aspire to be. Connected to whether you make a formal introduction by introducing yourself via email or you start to engage with their content, you comment on things, you DM them, you respond to them so that they know you and so that they follow you and one day you post some really good work and they repost it and your ideal customer is already following them. So the idea is essentially that you're connecting with people that are in the hub, in the ecosystem of the person that you're solving a problem for, because you start with this person that you're solving a problem for and you think about other extensions. Think of it as like tentacles that are coming out of that person that they are connected to, so that when you connect with one of those other places, you're essentially connecting back to the ideal customers that you're looking for. And faith organizations, where they're going to get married, they may be doing so in a church. So if you're part of a local church, the people know that you do makeup where over there. And remember, we're not just talking about brides. How about prom people as well? There are parents in that church that can hire you, who technically are your clients because they're the ones that are purchasing it from you. um it's not to downplay the importance of showing up online and having work that they can see, because let's say I am a mom and I recommend you to my daughter, say, hey, I see your prom is coming up, do you want to book Mrs. Beauty please? And she's like, oh, who's that? And there's no work they can find on the internet, then it kind of goes away there. But like, it's just saying there are hubs to connect to. Let me continue. Media hubs, like podcasts that people listen to. So maybe not podcasts in this sense, maybe YouTube pages that people watch for makeup in your geographic location, or even actual media like TV. Imagine you getting press for your makeup and stuff like that. Events like bridal shows, places that people are going to go to prepare for occasions. Maybe even a prom dress show. I don't know if there's a thing like that. Non-for-profit organizations. As I was preparing for this, I was like, okay, how does non-for-profit fit into this? Then I thought about, what about if you partner with local shelters, maybe shelters for domestic violence victims, and they too have to go to school. Imagine if you were able to offer pro bono services to a couple high school students going to prom. That would be such good local PR for you, that you're that makeup artist that cares about the community like that. And it expands your network. Maybe the director of the shelter then has their own event. They remember you as the person who volunteered, or if they don't have an event, they know other people. They will be the ones to carry your good work and spread it essentially. Then there's also academic institutions. This one I was like, academic institutions, how do we relate it to my example? And the point of me sharing these examples is for you to be able to think about yourself and how you can apply this to your own business as well. Imagine if you did a little tutorial style class with local high schools and we're like, how to prepare for prom, 7 tips to get the perfect brows for your prom, different lip styles, I don't know, you know what is trending, you're the one in the industry. For me, I have done this over this weekend, or I'm still doing it actually, and I realized that the schools in my vicinity, McMaster and Mohawk, I'm in Hamilton, um, are they have hubs for small business. Some of them are very startup heavy, so tech, health, and the rest. But there are some that are entrepreneurship driven as well, like the ones in Mohawk. And I was like, they were right under my nose, which is exactly what the writer of this book, Pamela Slim, was saying, that like discover untapped markets and unlock new opportunities. So I've reached out to some of them, just introduced myself. I saw there's an event that's coming up. I'm going to go just so I can know people and they can know me. If people don't know you, how are they going to work with you? That's what this is about. And the last one, I don't know if it's the last one. I feel like I'm skipping one again. Is for profit organizations, maybe like event planners. If they know you and you're a preferred vendor, it's a win-win for their clients to be able to find someone that is trusted, that does the makeup that would look good with flash and things like that. So this concept of the widest net really helps you to think about who you're serving and other people that serve them too, that you can partner with, that can help you reach those customers. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Usually, when you hear this kind of advice, you hear about pitching and how aggressive you need to be in your outreach. I'm going to talk about pitching in another video, so you should check it out. But I'm going to also take some of the concepts I've learned from Pamela, and include them there. Another video slash episode, so if you're listening, it'll be there as well. Humans need time to assess whether a business connection is ethical, competent, and safe. So we need to slow down. Because when you hear advice like, DM 100 people or whatever, it's because, yes, there is a value to the numbers, right? And making sure that you're getting enough reps in to actually get results. But sometimes it feels just highly unnatural. And there's a difference between knowing something just feels icky and feeling timid. And I think it's just that icky piece that has always been making me hold back. And I'm sure some of you hold back as well. When you reach out to people, think about it like you're meeting someone that looks like a nice person to collaborate with, like a date. And the first thing you say to them is, "Will you marry me?" or something like that. It's like, okay, slow down. Maybe hi, hello, how are you doing? How's the weather like today? Oh, I see that we go to the same school. Things like that. Like introducing yourself is going to take you're not going to get the deal on the first introduction. So introducing yourself is going to require building a relationship for them to assess whether you really are competent, you are ethical and safe, because them referring you to their network is a risk essentially, because they don't know you, they don't know your work, and they don't know who you are as a person. So essentially giving ourselves enough time to build these relationships is very important. And that was my fifth point, just knowing that humans need time to assess business connections. So treat these like real relationships and slow down. I love that point so much. I wanted to like frame it somewhere and just remember it as I do my own outreach as well. Number six is very brilliant. This is where you plant seeds. She talks about tiny marketing acts, right? And there are small daily marketing actions that, when delivered consistently over a long period of time, they build your brand, they build your business, and they build your bank account, because we cannot play about that at all. The idea is that you can do something small every day to build your brand. It could be like sending email introductions to people, it could be posting on social media. This is where social media comes in. It could be reaching out to local reporters. I know it feels scary, but if you have something worth sharing, why not like do so? She kind of gives an example of reaching out to a reporter at a publication that serves your audience because you've done that work, and offering yourself as an expert resource, because some opportunities will find you, yes, but other opportunities you will go out to find. And, it looks like also responding to questions on Facebook, on LinkedIn, that demonstrates your expertise. These are all small things, but they help us to build in public. They help us to build our credibility in public so that people can see us and the things that we're offering the world. Today, it might not be the day where you will reap the results of that seed that you've sown, but there are small things that if you do them consistently, they build up, and people know you for a certain topic. They can reach out to you and they can find ways to hire you and work with you, which is what we want. So I love it very much, and it has given me the ginger to show up more more frequently, more like myself on the podcast, on the YouTube, on I've decided I can't be on every single social media platform. I don't like some of them. Some of them make me stressed. So I will work with the ones I like, and I'm just going to do that. I think that's fine. Like I cannot be expected to be on every one of them, and I'm just going to pick some and focus. Take my own advice. The final point is, where the money is made. Developing a sales mindset of service, pride, and confidence. Sales has a bad reputation of being like, give me your money. And it's like, that's not it. It's like, I am competent in what I do. So if I'm going to help you, I need to let you know about what I do and give you the opportunity to decide whether or not to go with me. I'm being confident. I also saw yesterday a different book, actually not a book, it was like a report on different coaches and consultants and the lessons they had learned over the years. And the guy was saying that he was speaking with a colleague about setting prices. And she said that setting prices is a matter of courage. I would like to find the exact quote and tell you what he said verbatim, because I think it would be useful. You know what? I cannot find it, but setting prices is a matter of courage. And I was like, okay, setting prices is a matter of courage. And I just liked it. It's like, how courageous can you be? And testing that out to see if people will respond to it. So I just love that point very much. Selling is simply helping your prospective customer walk through the steps they would normally take when making the buying decision. And then once that cycle is complete and they have all the information that they need, request a decision, yes or no. You know, she simplifies it and also gives an example of like, when you think about all the different things you need to make a decision, you need to have information about, okay, what is the offer? So you need to get clear on your offer. What are you selling? What do you include? What do you not include? If it's not clear, then you can't blame the person for not being able to make a decision. Then you need to also have answers for potential objections. So making sure that there's enough content on your website to answer questions through that process, and also asking for a decision, okay, yes or no, because maybe it's not really a decision. And I just found it really helpful. I hope that you have enjoyed this review of the book as much as I have. All right, that's all for today, and here's to building thriving businesses. Bye.